on stage, so we can start. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. Thank you for coming today. Forgive me because my voice today, is the best voice for me, and I'm very cold. But tonight, between I'm missing and going, I thought about yesterday opening with Tony Caro and Hellstick. I think so because the truth is when I saw yesterday Tony and Hellstick, I thought about, oh, we are going to go Harry Potter, and we will put all the sticks together and we will do the magic of Living Labs. And then I saw that it wasn't, or it would be. Why it could be? Because I think so that when we do social innovation, digital social innovation, when we co-create, when we collaborate, I think that we do something magic. I think that we do bit of magic of Living Labs, and I think we transforming society. And this challenge, our challenge, is magic, and it's possible to do at the same time, the magic and the transformation. I think now this stick, this light of magic is in the floor of Africa, on Africa. I'm sure it may not be the same as we do, but it's the way that we here and we there make it together. And now we start with this magical stick. I think so that now we share the experience of Living Lab in Africa, and now we share with you a project has just started with I2CAT, with FEDESUD and Agència Catalana de Cooperació. The workshop is starting with Samia Shelby through she make a video. Through this video, she will share with us the Tunisia experience of Living Labs. And now we see the video. I think so.
There is a video, so don't worry.
We have a video.
The thing is that,
No, okay.
Hello everyone, I'd like to wish you happy Living Lab days. I'd like to thank Inol for the invitation and for the opportunity gives to me to share my modest experience in social and open innovation via DGR Living Lab, founded by NetInfo, School of Art and Technology, situated in Tunisia. And the main mission of this school and this Living Lab is to support talented people by the training and the connection with the market. First of all, let me introduce myself. I am Samia Shelby, university teacher in software engineering since 1996, and I dedicated my academic research to developing innovative African models for training and coaching young people with a passion for content production in the creative industry, such as 3D and gaming. I like a lot to convert research models into private company or non-profit organization. In fact, my first concept is NetInfo School of Art and Technology, founded in 1999. It's a private company dedicated to train African talent in 3D animation and video games. We trained since this date more than 20,000 of African talents, and we reach more than 20 African countries. The second concept is non-profit organization created to get closer to the ecosystem for impact and better understand the needs and the constraints of this industry. In 2015, we founded DigiArt Living Lab, which allowed us to capitalize on the expertise acquired from the school and the organization to carry out impactful projects based on the Living Lab methodology. The main mission of our Living Lab is to allow students or professional talents to experience and to live an experience of content production in the creative industry, and to contribute to the production of projects with strong socio-economic impacts. And this experience led them to be connected to all stakeholders, public, private, and even organization and institution. So to do this mission well, we have partners from the African, European, and Canadian ecosystem, but also we have technological and institutional partners who support us, like Epic Games, Autodesk, NVIDIA, and of course, INOR. Our mission is talent-centered, and we target two types of beneficiaries who are grouped in two categories, in two programs. One for kids, that means under 18 years old, which is called صغير كيفنا in Arabic. That means your child creates in creation process, because we believe in the development of the culture of innovation since young. And the second, for those over 18, for adults, which is called Geek Enough. To succeed this mission, we have designed a model that takes in input talents, but also ecosystem partners with needs, and above all, with a mindset that goes with innovation to achieve our goals. The young talents will have the freedom to create their startups. In this case, we connect them to incubators or to join the partners company, or they decide to stay in our Living Lab to continue to innovate. So, to allow all these actors to collaborate, to well collaborate together, and above all, to be effective and efficient, we adopt a framework composed by 8 steps. The first one is the detection of problems or issues from the ecosystem. After, we go to the second phase, which is the selection of the actors of the ecosystem with whom we will collaborate to prepare the selection phase of talents, which starts with a hackathon. Once talents and partners have been selected, we start the prototype production phase. Then we go to the experimentation phase in the real environment, and also the measurement of the impact. After this, we organize networking and promotion events to present prototypes in order to find the right economic model to transform those prototypes into a product or services ready to go to the market. In fact, our industry has allowed us to touch different sectors, as well as different technologies. I will take example from healthcare, education, culture, tourism for sector, and for technology, the main technology in 3D, gaming, and massive production, artificial intelligence related to 3D and creative industry, Internet of Things, cloud, and actually blockchain. We have in our portfolio different types of projects with different managers, with different type of partners, which mainly revolve around the gamification of industrial or other processes, immersive production, metaverse production, etc. And we will share with you by the end of this presentation a video recap of our projects. So let me, at the conclusion of this presentation, share with you how we are contributing to the boost of this industry in Africa. The first element is to work to get closer to investors, to win grants, to train for free and support talent in Africa, like the program EPIC Mega Grants. This program let us support African talents and manage two programs, African Game Dev, managed in 10 African countries, and from this program emerged 3 startups. And actually, African Metaverse Academy to produce a prototype of African Metaverse to highlight the African culture heritage. And 3D Africa makers around 3D printing and manufacturing managed and supported, managed with African partners and supported by Autodesk. The second element is by contributing to think tanks to support government in growing up in designing also their innovation and development strategy according to related to this to the creative industry. And last and not the least is by providing networking program to make the matchmaking of African talents with European and Canadian ecosystem to land business opportunities. So finally, I want to thank a lot my team, composed 100% of African talents, and I am very proud of them. And let me share with you the story of our living lab. I wish you will like it, and thank you for all. Thank you, Edward. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. Now is the time to Madhu Mamal, is the director of Feresud, who explained to this experience of Senegalese agents with Living Lab. Thank you. If you want to, yes.
Okay. Thanks, Nata. Thanks for all the participants. I want to talk about Digital Senegal 2025 strategy and the role of the Telecommunication Universal Service Development Fund, FDSUD, that I manage. About the strategy, Senegal numérique, we can go to the next slide, please, or if you have it. We have three, I can do it, okay, thanks. So, for Senegal numérique 2025 strategy, we have a vision which reflects a strong political will. And the vision is by 2025 in Senegal, digital technology will be offered to all and for all youth with a dynamic and innovative private sector in a high performing ecosystem. And with this vision and our digital strategy, the ambition is to maintain position as innovative leading country in Africa. About our mission in Universal Service Fund, we have, it is based in 4 elements in the strategy. We have the priorities 2 for the human capital, but we have also 3 axes in the 4 that we have in our strategy. Axis 1 for an open and affordable access to network and digital services. Axis 3 for the development of an innovative and value-creating digital industry. And Axis 4 for the dissemination of digital resource in key economic sector. So with these 4 elements, we have tried to build a vision, a specific universal service vision for answering digital infrastructure and service that are accessible, affordable, and adapted for all. And with this vision, we have built a lot of projects for answering effectively to this vision. And for this, we have 2 main missions. First is universal service access to electronics communication infrastructure and services. And the second is the development of digital application or services. And for our organization, it is the fund comes from the telecommunication operator. Mainly we have 3 in Senegal, that is Orange, Free, and Expresso. And we have 2 major axes of intervention. First is the strengthening of network coverage, and the second is the development of digital use. And for this we have some projects, and the main are Living Lab project. Right now we have 4 Living Labs that we are developing. 2 exist today in the center of Senegal, at Kaolack and at Nangalon in that region. And there is 2 others that we have started in the north of Senegal at Saint-Louis and in the south at Ziguinchor in Casamance. We have some other projects for multimedia room for school, for equipping in school with computer and numeric tools. The same for Unconnected project. It is for people with disability. There is some training center, and we try to provide adapted digital tools according to their disability. We have also a digital suitcase that is with some electronic device, and also for gardening kits and some rubber also. We have the digital edic project where we try to have capacity building for young people. There's also the universal access project where we build some infrastructure in area eligible to universal service. We do it with telecommunication operator in rural area and in the border where we have less telecommunication infrastructure. We have also another project about geographic information system for a mapping of all our telecommunication infrastructure in Senegal. And according to these projects that we have developed this last year or now, we have built a larger program that is called PANIM, which is a Universal Digital Access Program, where we have a part for connectivity with infrastructure for covering part of the country. We have also a certain part about equipment for equipping with digital tools as a public structure for population with computer, with smartphone also, where we are financing the acquisition. There is also a third part about innovation and capacity building, where we try to promote the development of content and application in collaboration with young innovators. According also the reality about one area in the region in Senegal. We do also training and try to raise awareness also about among the population about digital profession. And this main program try to gather the main project what just we have in our organization. That is this that I aim to explain to you. Probably about the Living Lab project, someone can come back and tell more about it. Thanks for your attention. And
now the floor is for Sogna Ndeje. She's a coordinator of Living Lab project of Episode. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Okay, good evening, everybody. I preview to do my communication in French, but I will make effort to do it in English, like my coordinator. I want to share the experience of Living Labs in Senegal, the implementation. Okay, for the history, we to implement the project, we do a mission of benchmarking of FPSU to IDRCAT in January 2020. And after that, we have made a series of meetings of project team between March and August 2021 with various potential partners and stockholders. After we launched officially the project in September 2021, and after we signed many agreements with partners involved in the management of the project, like university, department council, regional development agencies, to provide human resources to manage the Living Lab, and to provide a welcome to implement the project. And like the coordinator said, we have 4 Living Labs in Senegal for the pilot project. It is a program for 3 years. We have we have to be projects to implement one to Saint-Louis in the north of Senegal. Nangalma we have implemented yet, Kaolack and Ziguinchor in the south. And we have 3 goals to achieve population digital inclusion for implementing this Living Lab. And Living Lab will be an open place with digital tools and basic training or sensibilization sessions. We aim to democratize the innovation with deployment of 13 ecosystems with heterogeneous profiles and to catalyze local development. And the budget for the project for the 3 years is 365 for the 4 Living Labs. And for the organization of the project, we have set up a scientific committee with municipalities, universities, the Chamber of Commerce, the County Council, and the agencies of development. And with issue structure, provide a focal point to manage the Living Lab. And their roles are to animate the working group according to the Living Lab method, to direct the work progress, to product activity monitoring reports, and to provide technical support too for providing product. With the scientific committee, we have Living Lab members, the users, who are provided by each instructor. They provided 5 members, each instructor stakeholder provide 5 members, and they are all 25 members for each Living Lab. And their role are to share knowledge and experience, to propose technological solutions and ideas, and to think about a solution. And for the achievements, we have rehabilitated the locals which the local Living Lab are integrating, and we make equipments, technological equipments, on the Living Lab of Dangalma in Kaolack with furniture too. In December 2002, we provide the co-management teams of 2 Living Labs, 6 members for each, and we inaugurate the 2 Living Labs in Kaolack and Dangalma between April 2003 and July 21st. We start the activities of the Living Lab of Dangalma. The activities are in progress. We recruit the project members, we validated the project for the members, and we relaunched the mission for the implementation of the Living Lab of Ziguinchor. For the partnership, we have various partners. We have public partners like local authorities. We have our supervisor ministry. We have universities too, and agricultural research institute. We have private partners like primary sector actors, technical and financial partners, and experts in the digital field. For the example of our partnership with IDRCAP, we started the partnership in January 2002 with the mission of benchmarking, but we signed also a memorandum of understanding between FDSU and IDRCAP to provide its expertise on Living Lab. In December 2001, we organized a webinar about the implementation of Senegalese Living Lab, co-organized between FDSU and IDRCAP with participation of experts from ENOL and other structure. In March 2002, we invited IDRCAP to visit Senegal and meet the stakeholders of the project, like the university, Ministry of Digital Economy, our supervisor, as ministry, the Ministry of Research and Innovation, and local partners. And to May 2002, we write the cooperation project between IDRCAT with the action plan 2002-2003, and beginning of the training of fishery living lab managers and with living lab methodology and good practices provided. And in March 2003, we participate on the forum of IRAP through the IDRCAT. And for the perspective of cooperation between Catalonia and Senegal, we have the 5G experimentation in rural areas, the nanosatellite and LoRa network for IoT usage, development of technology anthropology research field, and development of initiatives oriented to young people or women financial autonomization. And we are open to other partnership to bring to enhance the project and to bring more technical partners to ensure training for the manager and the community on transversal competencies. And we have beginning partnership with the Belgian Corporation and another European Union through the IDRCAT and the World Bank. That is why I have to share with you. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Shona, for sharing with us the project. And now it's the time to Arthur Serra, is our deputy director, and he explained and he shared with us the project and the strategy of IDRCAT. Thank you.
The title of my speech is that is how FDC is helping us to change our narrative about Africa. When I mean us, it's our IDRCAT Foundation. The IDRCAT Foundation is the Research and Innovation Digital Center on the Internet Technology. It's a member of I would say, the elite of the research centers of the region in Catalonia called CERCA. And majority of the members are engineers, computer scientists, and we also have a small group called Digital Social Innovators. This is the PST and the Martins and this group. And it is important to understand the majority of these people, engineers, computer scientists, when we got this from Senegal, say, okay, what these people is doing, why we should commit with FDC. We are working now in the 6G generation. European Union is beginning to develop projects not in 5G but in 6G. We are developing all conference in video conference. That means that the main research lines of the European Union are not just living lab left. And well, the question is, we have this group of study innovation and living labs, and they enter in IDRCAT in this specific point. And they begin to say, okay, try to see if you get some funding to collaborate with this institution. By the way, we don't have this kind of FSUT foundation in Spain, and I think the operator, they are not forced by law to put any kind of funding in getting universal access. They want to what they want, and then it provides access by commercial issues. Okay, and then we begin to understand that for the first time we are facing a project of cooperation that is not our initiative, but it is their initiative. This is important to understand. It's their project community lab who make this kind of visits of different centers, and they choose us, not because we have CC, etc., but we have this kind of long tradition of participating in building labs and home. And this is beginning to open this kind of new narratives in a very high technological center in Catalonia about what is happening in Africa. Because the kind of mindset we have here is the kind of mindset we have in every Western country. This is the Africa we see every day, anytime. Cayucos, immigrants from Africa. We see these disasters in Morocco, in Libya. What I mean every day is every day. If you open the news, all the news are the same information about Africa. Day by day, month by month, year by year. And you have wars and all this kind of the most disastrous situation in the world. But maybe they are true, but they are not the only true. We criticize a lot the misinformation of the other kind of media, but we don't realize how we are misinformed, but we see the reality only with this kind of permanent mindset narrative about a continent like Africa. But we live in this kind of thing. And this is not only the media. Still in the United Nations, this idea, the Department of Economic and Social Affairs, of less developed country. And sorry, the SDG are still in this framework. We are the developed and they are underdeveloped or least developed country. Okay? And it's fine, SDG are fine, but it's the same narrative. We are the developed, they are not developed, we need to help them to be developed. And in this list, Senegal is in this list, and Rwanda is in this list, and Comoros is in this list. Now we explain what happened in these countries now. This is the Africa we don't see in Western countries, and we don't see in Africa, of course. And especially we don't see in the technical part of Africa, in the engineering part of Africa. We don't see that in these countries there are these kind of institutions, found paid by the telecom operator to get universal access of telecommunications. We don't see that this is a service connected with the government of Senegal. We have a vision about Africa sending them NGOs, but sometimes we forget that these countries have governments, companies, chamber of commerce, and all kinds of institutions, not only the individual people working in rural areas. Not only civil society, they have a structure, but they try to get a structure of political, economical system. And they have this kind of information that you have already got from soccer, okay? We were there, and you have the motto, Tous Connected. This is the motto of the old internet society, or the old internet society. I founded it at my chapter of the internet society at the beginning of when I came to the States, and the motto is the same. Internet is for everyone. And this is the motto of this association. This is the, I think this is the office you have in Dakar. Okay? But this is not only a visit. Senegal has just signed this national data strategy. Madou told me that it's also an artificial intelligence strategy. Yes, in Senegal, not in Catalonia, not in Finland, in Senegal. And they are doing this kind of initiatives. But we don't know that in 2013, I think, was this kind of commitment of these head of states of different African countries to develop the Smart Africa Manifesto. And these people there is, I think it's called Kagame, the president of Rwanda. You remember Rwanda is the least developed country. This is the least in the but this president is leading this kind of initiative of Smart Africa. This is important because they want to develop their own goal to the Smart Africa. And this is more. This is the African Union strategy. Not 2030, no, to 2063, because it will be the 50th anniversary of the creation of the African Union of Africans, now is African Union, okay? The Africa we want. This is the attempt to really something similar what we are trying to do in the European Union, is creating this kind of collaborative political project in Africa called African Union. But there are more. You know what is AfriLabs? How many people in that room know AfriLabs? Okay. AfriLabs is an association of 400 accelerators, digital hubs in all Africa. And they are beginning to develop this kind of digital entrepreneurial organizations. 400 AfriLabs. In all, we have no clue about what's that. Now we have clue about what's that. Because we're trying to connect in all these kind of ideas they have, this living that African community, beginning with Senegal, but also we will connect with this African labs. By the way, there's a person on the Senegalese that is doing Jokolab, he was one of the founders of African Labs. Can you see? But there are more. The next year, European and United Nations will organize the Summit of Future. You know what will be the future in demographic terms? That will be the future. This is not the graphic for mine, it's the graphic for the United Nations Demographic Service. This is the evolution of the global population in the next years at the end of the century. Africa is a continent of teens, because the continent of where more youngest people will live in the next decades. In this graphic, you will see the evolution of, we talk about human-centric innovation. You know, where the 80% of the humans will live at the end of the century. It will be Asians or Africans. It will be the humanity at the end of the century. The graphic shows it. There's one difference. The Asian people in 2050 begin to decrease. The African people will begin to speed up. This is important because that means that this increase in population from 200 to 100 will be the reason for the youngest population in Africa, the enormous youngest population that with the digital tools, different kind of social structure, political innovation infrastructure, they think it can be a very powerful force for changing the world. But this is not in the digital terms. How many of you know the Great Wall, the Green Wall, the African Green Wall? Can you raise your hand? Good. They want to do a wall, a green wall, to a little bit reduce the acceleration of desertification in Africa. There's a green wall of 4,000 kilometers, I think, from one point to another, and Senegal is part of this kind of enormous efforts to mobilize the creativity and the effort of this kind of population to try to do big, huge global climate change project that few people talk. You don't see too much information about the enormous effort that Africa, that is the least contaminant producer of CO2, is doing to reduce this kind of problem we have. And finally, you know, the Comoros, this is a small archipelago in the Indic, I think. Okay. A few days ago, the Comoros, that is the president of the African Union, was invited as a permanent site in the G20. The G20 is kind of things of the biggest people, not the, but the president of this kind of tiny small island, now the president of the African Union, was invited by the president of India to be part, and the rest accepted that, because this economically poor but human powerful continent, it will be that double. Then, This is completely changing. I try to explain to my colleagues, my engineers, the digital world has a problem now, it's a human problem. They don't have enough digital talent. And the digital talent are human talent. And if you don't have human, you will have a problem for developing IE, etc. And this is why if in Africa can connect human people with digital training, we can have an answer to one of the problems that the digital companies have. Yeah, that is arriving to beginning to change the agenda of the United Nations. Until now, we have only the Sustainable Development Goal, etc. But now, the Secretary General, by the way, the European, are beginning to talk about our common agenda. And this is interesting, and remember this, the choices we make today could result in a breakdown or in a breakthrough. Normally, we use the term breakthrough for radical innovation, radical ideas. Okay, breakdown or breakthrough to a greener, better, safer future. The choice is ours to make. This is very important. The choice is ours to make. We are a group of young anthropologists inside a high-tech center. This is the reason we are really sensibilized that we need to join technology, digital technology, and human power, and this is why we're participating in this kind of initiative. I think we need to also to connect this very local still initiative with the European strategy, but also with this UN strategy. For the first time, we are beginning to figure out a roadmap for digital cooperation as a general strategy for the United Nations. The SDG, they are concentrated in digital cooperation. They include some objectives, but now they want to develop this general strategy for the United Nations, not only the ITU only, but the Secretary General and all the United Nations behind this initiative. This is a good opportunity. There are some key points, but the first one is achieving universal connectivity by 2030. Anyway, conclusions. Thanks, Dessert, for having chosen Africa, for helping us to discover this emerging Africa. We are committed to offer the best of our expertise in living labs and also other digital domains and knowledge to actively collaborate with you in building these programs. And thanks to the Agency for Cooperation for Development in Catalonia, for the trust you are doing in this kind of non-usual center to farm. And I hope that will be the first step in a long road. Thank you very much.
I have got what Arthur every day do this. For this reason and this presentation, I think so is a pride for me and for our college to be in Arthur team. I have got words, Arthur. Now the following speaker is Rafael Endoy. Sorry, he's a project manager, expertise in France. Thank you.
Thank you, Marta, and thank you all for having me here. I think we start by thanks Arthur, because as Marta said, he is such an impressive person. And when I came to meet him 3 years ago, I was so happy to meet this kind of person, and so also glad to have the opportunity to build a relationship between Senegal and Catalonia, and more specifically with Arthur, because he's a big fighter of our rights. And we didn't coordinate our speech, but we said quite the same thing. So I was in the Universal Services Fund of Senegal when the adventure of Senegal Living Lab starts. And I am now project manager at Expertise France. I will talk a little bit about that. But before starting my presentation, I will present myself here to let you know where I'm talking from. So I was born in France, from a French mother and a Senegalese father. I was raised there, I graduated from a school engineer, and I started my career in Paris as a project management officer. 3 years after, I decided to go in Senegal and discover my other country with work environment perspective. And I had the opportunity to join the Senegal governmental agency, first in IGOB and then in universal service activities. And that was also where I met Arthur. After this experience, I spent 3 years and a half in Senegal. I went in Guinea-Conakry to help the Universal Service Fund of Guinea to start their activities. And finally, I came back in Paris. So as you understand, my life is a little bit 1 foot in Europe and 1 foot in Africa, in West Africa, in fact. And as Arthur said, I had the opportunity to really identify what are the strengths of both continents, of the two continents, and what one could bring to another. Because we always speak about North-South cooperation, but I think now we have to start to speak also about the South-North cooperation. Because in Africa we have a lot also to share, and notably regarding the human development, the social inclusion, and also the relationship that we have with environment. Because in Europe we have sort of lost what was important for us and what was important for the community development in general. Okay, so I finished my introduction. Now let's talk a little bit about Expertise France. So this is a French governmental agency in charge of technical cooperation. We are an entity of the group AFD, for Agence Française de Développement, which is a French development bank. But on our side, we are more an implementing partner. Some donors like EU or like United Nations Organization give us projects to deploy, and this is our role. I'm attached to the economic department, more precisely in the unit called Entrepreneurship, Digital and Innovation, and this is not just words. This is really what we are doing. And we have 4 main topics of intervention. First of all related to regulatory frameworks. So we support policymakers to develop favorable policies for digital innovation development or digital innovation entrepreneurship development, such as innovative SMEs or startups. We also work on the access to funding. We call that innovative mechanism of investment, but in fact sometimes we just bring some solution that already exists here but not there. For example, crowdfunding. For example, also things like loans of orders, and we also support government to develop a way to attract diaspora funds to be able to invest locally. We also work in innovative techs, like in geospatial data use case development, or like AI. For example, we supported the Senegal government to develop their roadmap of their AI strategy. And finally, my favorite one is the ecosystem support. It is a way to strengthen the organization that supports entrepreneurship, that supports startups, that develop Fab Labs or Living Labs, to really move all the ecosystem to develop more activities in digital innovation or in entrepreneurship, innovative entrepreneurship, or in startups activities. And this is also my favorite because this is the part where there is a room to develop the Living Lab approach. And our main activities are in Africa. More than 50% of our portfolio is in Africa, but we have also activities all around the world. So now, after the summary, let's talk practice. I want to share with you a project that is called ADIB, for African European Digital Innovation Bridge. This is a youth-funded project launched 3 years ago that aims to develop the digital innovative ecosystem in Africa and then to connect it to the European digital innovation ecosystem. So the main goal, in fact, of the first phase of ADIB was to create a digital innovation hub. 12 of them were created all around Africa, as you can see on the map. And you can find them on the website of the project, so adibnet.eu. And they have main topics activities. So you can find geospatial, clean tech, health tech, agri-tech, and also women in tech. And now we are working on the second phase of this project, and the goal is really to foster the connection with the Digital Innovation Hub in Europe, but also to foster the collaboration between what we call the first places. So we can speak about Fab Labs, Living Labs, and this kind of places that are very fundamental to be sure that the human perspective and the human development aspects are included in our strategy of developing digital innovation in Africa and also in Europe. And finally, Living Lab approach is also interesting for us as an implementing partner because we can deal with the activities that we have to deploy thanks to this approach to be sure that we create inclusive frame of collaboration and that we develop relevant solutions and that we answer really the needs of all the partners. For example, just on the regulation frame, for the first phase, we were focused on the bottom-up approach to be sure that the policymaker was supported in a good way and according to their wills. But now the goal is also to include the civil society, to include the private sectors, and thanks to the Living Lab approach, to be sure that we will develop concrete and relevant policy regulation for startups or innovation entrepreneurship development. This is the same on access to finance and also on women, including women in tech. I was follow the panel on that this morning about how gender could be better included in digital innovation thanks to Living Lab approach. And the main recommendation was to have everyone around the table and to develop a common language of what we understand and on how we can really build steps to make the women more and more included in the tech in general activities. And we will also try to do that thanks to the Living Lab approach. So that was all on my side. And if you are an European DHH here, please feel free to contact me because I'm really interested to be in this type of connection. And the phase 2 of AD will start next year, so we have time to have some discussion with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Rafael. Now it's the time to Joya Alcoceba. Joya is the General Director in the Development Cooperation of Generalitat of Government of Generalitat Catalunya. And I said thank you for belief for our project, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martha. Pleasure to be here, and nice to be invited to this space to debate, to share, and even if it's Friday afternoon, and it's a little bit tough to resist, but still here. Let me introduce a little bit about the Catalan Corporation from the side of the government. The Catalan Corporation has always been characterized by being very dynamic, very active, and above all, very participated by various actors, stakeholders of the Catalan Corporation system, but not only the Catalan Corporation system, but of other stakeholders of our priority countries. In the configuration of this public corporation policy, that is reviewed and validated every 4 years by, there is an extensive process of evaluation, analysis, and carried out by the different levels with different actors. That is the Catalan ministries, the different ministries, health, education, foreign affairs, of course, unions, universities that participate as well, municipal institutions, private sector, and civil society organizations, NGOs, the classical NGOs that are in our corporation system. It is in this process, which lasts approximately between 10 or almost 1 year, that all the stakeholders, all the actors have the opportunity to influence, to suggest ideas, to intervene and to change, modify, or improve the policy, the public policy of cooperation. What's more, the government approved as well, after all this participatory process, the government afterwards approved this document that is called a master plan, a 4-year master plan that guides and leads the policy. And at the last stage is the parliament, the Catalan parliament, that validates at its final stage. So as you can see, everybody participates somehow in some time. So that's why, and it's quite peculiar. It's not quite often that such a range amount of stakeholders participate in a public policy. So it's an exercise of transparency, participation, and giving the chance to everybody to say something. Also, we're facing that this whole process creates spaces where all the actors can offer their visions and contribute with innovative ideas, as the ideas that have arisen here. The resulting truth is not so encouraging. In general, both in Catalonia and in Europe, civil society, NGOs, when I'm referring to civil society, I'm referring to the NGOs that are in this cooperation for development ecosystem, okay, the classical ones. And you are not the classical ones, you are other things that the classic NGOs or stakeholders. So, both in Catalonia and Europe, civil society and certain public administrations at different levels have for some time been highlighting the need for a new form of cooperation. One that is able to meet the key challenges of the century while remaining useful as a policy at both at the local and global level. Because in this cooperation for development ecosystem, you work here in Europe, in Catalonia, with raising awareness projects, activities, actions that complement all the action that we are doing in our priority countries. And Senegal is one of our priority countries since the creation of this public policy in 2000 and even before. So we still need to move away from the idea that cooperation is the aid given by certain organizations with public or private backing to those most in need in other countries. And we have to move towards the very different idea that cooperation is a policy that will give us the opportunity, the chance to collaborate between us with other communities in order to tackle these global changes that affect us all. And it is not evident in this ecosystem and in this Catalan cooperation system. It's a very, we have analyzed with my colleagues, I'm now working in the government, but I was on the other side of the coin some years ago in big and small NGOs here in Catalonia and abroad in certain African countries. And when we share with my colleagues from civil society organizations, from NGOs, we all agree that we are very endogamic and we are very close to one to each other. And we are in this comfort zone, and it's very difficult to move towards this comfort zone. And this is an analysis that we share in Petit Comité, but NGO, civil society, and public administration. Without this transition, international cooperation will continue to be based on the ethical mandate of distributing the aid flows till every year. So we will be missing the opportunity that we are given to share capacities with initiatives like your initiative and projects, to share capacities, experiences that are key to tackling the common challenges we are facing. What's more, it's a challenge to replace the idea that cooperation is a friendly form of compensation within the process of promoting internationalization, with the vision of a mutual enrichment that provides experience, exchanges, and collaboration based on trust rather than commercial interest. Without this understanding of what cooperation could mean, and it has to mean, it would be difficult to truly exploit all its possibilities and align with the demands and needs of the present challenges. Several efforts have been made to expand the range of actors, of stakeholders in the sphere of international cooperation, to incorporate them as with their capacities. And we all know that there is no doubt that more effective to align these actors with a set of this public policy to create a much more fairer economic, social, environmental system in this global level. So the Catalan government recognizes, and in this last 1 year almost, recognizes that there are a number of new actors for us, for you now, because you are used to work all together and in this collaborative way. But for us, in this system of NGOs and public administration dealing with cooperation, there are a number of new actors who, by virtue of their deeper involvement, can play a leading role. For us, can play this leading role and improve our cooperation strategies, which must learn how to be useful in the face of challenges in this complex world. For example, when thinking about social and solidarity economy, the cooperative and social enterprises that operate in our partner countries, and there have been some examples we already said, can contribute all of their knowledge to a new economy, focus on the provision of service and products from a position of respect for the common good, collaboration, and self-organization. So what's more, the suppliers to administration, those suppliers to administrations and organizations, they can ensure the needs of international cooperation are met while also bringing professionalism, energy, dynamic, and a set of values that are in line with human rights declaration and SDGs. Another point that I would like to stress is about social movements, particularly those of an ecological and feminist nature as well, those that strive to make our places, our cities, our villages more dignified places to live or promote a particular culture. Those movements remain limitless sources of new actors and with a transformative energy. They are constant mutation and adaptation, and in the African context, we see it day by day. The mutation and adaptation in line with local or national struggles should not prevent cooperation from seeking to benefit from their actions and the things they seek to build. The cross-cutting qualities they offer, for our point of view as public administration that we are dealing with cooperation and development policies, they offer and their links to the defense of human rights, serve as a foundation for the development policies we are promoting. For all these reasons, through the Catalan Cooperation government, we promote a detailed approach similar to what we could say about the quadruple helix. We are the classical cooperation sector, where the classical cooperation sector already openly identifies the fatigue of the classic cooperation models. A different approach is needed, is necessary, where other dynamic actors, stakeholders like yourself, with innovative ideas can promote exchanges, not only with civil society organizations, but with a wider range of actors that can give us fresh air and new ways of work. To conclude, it is particularly peculiar that it is from the public administration, when talking about our Catalan public administration, that we are promoting new ways of working in the field of international cooperation for development. And somehow it's even more singular that it's not a civil society, or at least a part of the civil society, and they recognize themselves as this happens, that is promoting, that civil society is not promoting this change, these new approaches, these new debates, but from the government, that normally the government are decisionary, conservative, and non-dynamic. But I have several debates with my colleagues at the NGOs that they ask to the government about being innovative and give the way to be dynamic and innovative. And I say, no, it's the civil society that has to be disrupted, has to break and give the revolution and the way of and give us the way of working in another way. But at the end, we realize that it's about the fatigue, this comfort zone that we are all established, and it's difficult to get out. So we are very aware that if we want to give a meaning to the public policy of cooperation, to the Catalan public policy of cooperation for development, and to be able to face the challenges of this century, we have to renew our way of working, open our minds to new, more collaborative forms of working, sharing knowledge, and impulse process of co-creation between the classical civil society and classical administration, with other stakeholders coming from other sectors like yours. So the Catalan government is fully committed to accompanying, to be side by side to our NGOs, that those for 20 years or more have been the only interlocutors, the only stakeholders that we have to develop, to deploy this public cooperation policy. In order to discuss and we are committed to trying to help them to get out of their comfort zone, to encourage finding new ideas, new methodologies, new approaches. In short, the Catalan government wants to really give fully meaning to SDG 17, creating alliances for facing 21st century challenges. And those African examples that we had today, this afternoon, can show us how to do it. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Ilya. Thank you, all of us, for sharing with us all your words, all your projects. Thank you. It's an honor to stay here today with you. And now is the time of you. It's the time of question and answers. And Chris, have a micro. And anybody have got a question and answer? Okay. If you can say your name, please.
Yes, I'm Nederland de Witte. I work in a living lab in Belgium.
Thank you.
And I'm very interested in cross-cultural differences because it's very relevant what you are all doing. But I'm also thinking of all the frameworks, all the processes for setting up living lab and activities. I think they were all designed with the Western world in mind. And I was wondering whether setting up living labs and activities, whether you along the way noticed important differences about how we do things that might not work in Senegal or other African countries, and things that are very interesting that they do, that it is in your culture that we don't generally do or integrate in our processes.
Thank you. See? Do you want to say anything?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. We think in Senegal it was a good thing to implement the project, but it is difficult. Culturally, it is very, very difficult. It is our challenge. And in our spreadsheet, in our strategy, we are looking for how can the population appropriate the concept of living lab. It is our challenge. It is very, very difficult. Yes.
Thank you so much. More words, more answers? Questions? Okay. Okay. This woman and okay.
Thank you for the panelists. I'm Sudan Nam from South Korea. I'm working for International Development Corporation policy in Korea. And I wonder what's the difference between the participatory approach and the living lab approach. So I'm a classical, so I want to know more about it. Thank you.
Okay, it works, okay. I will touch on some, but Living Lab, I think it's a step forward, just the participative approach, because it's really the frame of collaboration that put in the middle the fact that everyone's skills has to be used during the process of innovation, and there is all a methodology behind the Living Lab just brought. And you have a methodology based on iteration phase, based also on the prototyping part. So it's not just a frame of dialogue, it's more than that. So I think this is the main difference between just the participative frame of collaboration and the Living Lab one. But I also think that Arthur is a better sponsor because he is a big specialist. But yeah, in a few words, I think that is the main difference.
Please. Okay.
Joy has explained the participatory approach. She is complaining that you can do participatory without innovation. You can do a lot of people participating, but no new idea, and everyone participates. This is why I think the idea of participation and innovation can be complementary. Participation is needed, there is needed also innovation, and then you need to go a little bit beyond. And Marta is an expert in participation policies, and she can also explain what will be the difference. Okay.
No, thank you.
Can I talk from there?
Yes.
No, oh, no.
No, you can.
Thank you. Well, I'm from. Thank you. I'm from Istanbul. I'm operating 2 living labs. We discussed this matter with Arthur several times, how Spain can help African countries to develop living labs, and also Turkey for Middle East countries like Syria, like Iran, like Azerbaijan, and also Armenia. Well, that's why we have set up one living lab in Mesopotamia area near the border of Syria. And it runs well, and our aim is to show how living labs can help that area, that region, to develop in the next decades. Well, first of all, I should mention that Turkish government is helping a lot to African countries. Then African living labs, they can get good helping financing support from Turkish government for African countries. And Turkey is very active in African countries. It's a pity that there's a few audience here. Yesterday, in one session, there was no place, Arthur was there was no place to sit. This session is much more important than yesterday's. Well, it means that in the next decade, African countries will attract much more audience for living labs leaders here, because living labs will be very, very active, functional in African countries and Middle East countries, I believe. Then how you can attract interest from Europe to Africa. But only Spain is helping now, and in Middle East countries only Turkey. But you should attract all other countries, especially European countries and also Turkey, to African countries. That is possible, and maybe living labs are the best way to attract, because living labs are not political issues, political centers, but Living Labs can reach any leaders, political leaders, to help them. Maybe one of the main aims should be that for African Living Labs, to reach politicians, to get more help, to develop your countries. We will do in Middle East countries. They need us. And Turkey is not a poor country. The PPP purchase power parity in Turkey, $30,000. Then that's why Turkey is helping to African countries and Middle East countries. And also it's an industrial country. I mean, Spain and Turkey will be very, very active in African and Middle East countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Question? Okay.
Hello, my name is Marie. I'm from the Danish Board of Technology, and I'm always curious to hear about the recruitment strategies of the participants in your living labs. Can you say a few words about that? The people that are still involved.
I show on the presentation that we have many stakeholders for the project, and to have the institutional anchorage, we make a partnership with municipalities, with universities, with local structures, which can help us to recruit the members from the actors of primary sector. But the Living Lab is focused on primary sector, agriculture, pisciculture, and other things related. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question?
I'm Eva from the Marta Mertur Serradin. So I only want to say that this project is very important in order to the speech of the CEO, because usually the cooperation development is understood like agrarian cooperation or in general cooperation or in terms of water or health, but not in technological cooperation and development. And in this era, it's very important start to know and recognize that the digital world is very, very important in our days to the communications and relations and the development of the population and the education, and definitely to stay connected with the world. So thanks to the Catalan Development Agency for Cooperation, and I think that this will be very relevant for other agencies. It's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Eva. Another question? Okay, I answered the question of Arthur. I think that the participation is beautiful. I think that we need to put in the center, at the center, the people, the citizens. When I imagine what kind of type or what is the item that I can do for the people. In abstract, I said we need to say our political and policymakers that it's we need to put in the center the people. How we need to to share with us a question. Is listen to me with your eyes. John in Catalan said we can I don't know we can sense and sensitive and listen. We need to sense and sensitive what the people need. This is the question. This is before. This is need to be before to do the policy maker and the policy and the public policy. This is the key of the participation, and I think this is the moment of speak magic. I think so. This is possible. This is possible to do, but we need to do, or we must to do, some space that citizens can imagine and share with us. Okay, now we have a little change, and Martina said me that the final show is here, is in the Agora, and I think so in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the final show is close open, close session, will be there. Thank you.
Sabe,